Vote. Every vote I feel counts.
Well, I'm a first immigration immigrant, and that's one of the things that I really wanted to do as I was getting my citizenship, the right to express my opinions as a member of this community and country. And I think everyone should exercise this vote, especially people that were born here.
The polls will be open until 7 p.m.
Democratic Illinois gubernatorial candidate J.B. Pritzker greeted commuters in Chicago this morning. While Pritzker is the largest self-funding candidate in U.S. history, his final push was all about pounding the pavement with good old-fashioned voter outreach. Pritzker says he will stay at the polls until they close tonight. And Governor Bruce Rauner also visited the polls today. The incumbent governor cast his ballot this morning. The governor commented on the heated race with Democrat J.B. Pritzker, stating that Pritzker has tried to, quote, buy political office. Rauner also spent time visiting with voters. And voters nationwide are going to the polls to weigh in on hundreds of House races, 35 Senate races, and governor's races in 36 states.
But many Americans will have on their minds the man who is not on the ballot today, President Trump. Karen Kafa is in Washington with a look at the big picture.
American voters getting a chance to show how they feel about the Trump presidency and GOP control of Congress.
I'm hoping that people see what's going on and that they really take the time to come out and vote.
President Trump's final push before Election Day came in Missouri on Monday, predicting he'll get blamed for Republican losses and no credit for GOP success.
If we don't do so well tomorrow, they will put me on the ticket. If we do great tomorrow, they will say he had nothing to do with it.
Like the rest of the country, the president waits and watches today as Americans decide whether Republicans will hold both chambers on Capitol Hill or Democrats grab a share of the power. While congressional Republicans wanted to make their case around the economy, President Trump zeroed in on immigration, a move that could prove harmful to GOP candidates in suburban districts in places like Virginia, Pennsylvania, and California, trying to attract moderates and independents. Democrats made their case around health care and character.
Our leader with the biggest megaphone in the world is engaging in conduct unbecoming a president. It is beneath the office of the presidency.
In addition to 435 House races and 35 Senate races, 36 governor's mansions are up for grabs today, too, with Republicans on defense in 26 of those states. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
And a programming note to pass along to you. WSIU TV will be carrying PBS NewsHour's election special tonight beginning at 7 p.m. And WSIU Radio will be carrying NPR's live coverage with local updates throughout the night. Evening Edition will have a recap of the results tomorrow night at 5. And President Trump held his final campaign rally before the election last night in Cape Girardeau. The president was introduced by Cape Girardeau native and conservative talk show host Rush Limbaugh. Country music artist Lee Greenwood and Fox News host Sean Hannity were among those taking part in the rally. President Trump praised Republican U.S. Senate candidate Josh Hawley.
If you want jobs and if you want safety, you have only one choice. A young, talented man who's going to be, I tell you, I really believe this, he's going to go down as one of our great senators, Josh Hawley.
Josh Hawley is running against incumbent Claire McCaskill.
Well, Sam, it was an absolutely beautiful day to get out to the polls.
It sure was. I couldn't have thought of any better weather for November. Let's see what Devin has to say with that forecast. Devin?
Zach, Sam, or Kyler, Sam. Yes, we both had a beautiful day today for the polls. Yesterday was really rainy, so I'm glad we didn't have any of that. Tonight it's going to be a little bit cloudy. We're going to see temperature around 50 degrees, but it's going to be raining in the morning. We're going to see temperature drop down to 46, so you may want to bring a jacket or something like that. It's going to be cloudy as the day goes on. The temperature is going to rise up to 53 degrees. We're going to see those clouds continue on for most of the week, and I'll tell you what days those are coming up on. Also, the temperatures are dropping, especially as the week goes on. We're even going to see a drop down to the 20s. So all that's coming up with your 5-day forecast, plus more, so stick around.
Thanks, Devin. Suspected school shooter in Indiana has confessed in court. More than 5 hours of testimony has presented during a hearing in Noblesville yesterday. Prosecutors played a homemade video they say shows the suspect, 13-year-old David Moore, talking about his plans a day before the May 25th attack. Investigators said on the day of the shooting, Moore had 2 handguns in his backpack. Moore shot a student and teacher who both survived.
I want him to be assessed properly. I want everything to be done and researched, and just so that we can all be safe.
Moore apologized for what he did in a statement released by his attorneys. He will return to court on November 14th, and the judge says he is still considering Moore's sentence.
The Carbondale Police Department needs your help in identifying a suspect who fraudulently used a credit card. The suspect used the victim's credit card at Papa John's and Pinch Penny Liquors between July 30th and August 10th. Anyone who can identify the suspect or has any information about the incident is encouraged to contact the Carbondale Police Department or Crime Stoppers. And SIU School of Music will host the 2018 American Song Festival starting tomorrow. The festival celebrates the creative genius and dynamic repertoires of American song composers and includes masterclasses, performances by SIU faculty and students, as well as a recital presented by Grammy nominee and SIU alum Emily Fons. All events take place in the Old Baptist Foundation Recital Hall, and the festival runs through November 10th.
Ahead on Evening Edition, updates on the newlywed crash in San Antonio.
Plus, the body of a National Guard member returns to the U.S. this morning. You're watching Evening Edition at 5. The body of Major Brent Taylor, who was fatally shot while serving with the National Guard in Afghanistan, was returned to the U.S. this morning.
Taylor's wife spoke shortly after the ceremony. She said her husband championed democracy, and it was getting that his body was returned to the U.S. on Election Day. Omar Jimenez has more.
A somber start to an election Tuesday for the family of Major Brent Taylor, the Utah mayor who temporarily stepped down from his position to deploy overseas with the National Guard. He was killed in Afghanistan on Saturday, just a few months before finishing his tour.
The price of freedom surely feels incredibly high to all those of us who know and love our individual soldier. But the value of freedom is immeasurable to all who know and love America.
In his final post on Facebook, Major Taylor wrote about the importance of voting and said, quote, "It was beautiful to see over 4 million Afghan men and women brave threats and deadly attacks to vote in Afghanistan's first parliamentary elections in 8 years.
He was doing what he loved, serving a country he loved."
One Afghan pilot who served with Taylor wrote his wife Jenny a letter saying he died on our soil, but he died for the success of freedom and democracy in both of our countries. And now, Brent Taylor's return to American soil comes perhaps at a fitting time, on an election day when his final wish is maybe truer than ever.
He implored of us all. I hope everyone back home exercises their precious right to vote. I hope that we all remember that we have far more as Americans that unites us than that divides us. May God forever bless America.
In Washington, I'm Omar Jimenez.
And a celebration of love takes a tragic turn. Just hours after 2 college sweethearts, Will Byler and Bailey Ackerman Byler, tied the knot at their fairy tale wedding. The helicopter carrying them from the celebration to their honeymoon crashed into the side of a hill, killing them and their pilot, the groom's grandfather. Federal investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board are combing through the wreckage in their search for answers as to what went wrong.
Because of how it's laid out on the side of the hill, we're not able to really go into the helicopter or the motor, the engine, because it's on the hill, and if we move it and we are going to come tumbling down the side of the hill as well. So at this point, the plan is really to recover the helicopter and do a detailed inspection.
The tragedy has shaken the tight-knit community at Sam Houston State University, where the couple was in their senior year.
Mail bomb suspect Cesar Sayoc is being held without bond after making his first appearance in a New York federal court today. The 56-year-old is accused of mailing at least 16 bombs to targets including CNN, Hillary Clinton, and former President Barack Obama. None of the explosives went off and no one was injured. Sayoc is facing 5 federal charges in the case, which authorities call a domestic terrorist attack. If convicted, he could spend up to 48 years in prison. His preliminary hearing is set for November 12th. More than 5,000 active duty service members are stationed along the U.S.-Mexico border. Yesterday, President Trump appeared to make it sound like the active duty troops would play a more visible role along the Texas border. But active duty troops are only providing support for Customs and Border Protection since they are forbidden by federal law to carry out law enforcement duties. General Joseph Dunford had this to say last night.
There is no plan for U.S. military forces to be involved in the actual mission of denying people entry to the United States. There is no plan for soldiers to come in contact with immigrants or to reinforce Department of Homeland Security as they are conducting their mission.
A Pentagon spokesman said the installation of the wire was in line with helping CBP plug gaps at ports of entry along the border.
And North Korea is talking tough again. One North Korean official says Pyongyang could resume building up its nuclear capabilities if the U.S. doesn't ease economic sanctions. The threat came with a clear call for the U.S. to ease its sanctions against North Korea. The warning comes before Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is scheduled to sit down with his North Korean counterpart in New York. And Facebook has taken down 30 pages and 85 Instagram accounts just hours before the polls opened today. U.S. law enforcement tipped the company off that the pages could be linked to foreign entities. U.S. officials say there is no indication that America's voting infrastructure has been compromised, but they warn the foreign operatives are trying to influence voters.
And Apple had a nice ride as a trillion-dollar company, but it's over, at least for now. Apple's market cap closed below 13 digits yesterday, 3 months after it became America's first public company ever to hit the trillion-dollar mark. That made Apple a record holder as just the second company in the world to hit a trillion-dollar value. Apple stock started declining last week when the company told investors holiday sales might fall short of forecasted levels. And in health news tonight, 4 kinds of Duncan Hines cake mix have been recalled for possible salmonella contamination. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says a DNA fingerprint found in a cake mix sample matched one linked to 5 salmonella cases. According to ConAgra, several sick individuals told investigators they consumed cake mix before their symptoms began. The FDA is inspecting the facility where the cake mixes were produced.
And after a weekend of rain, the sunshine returned today. But how long is the sunshine staying around? Devin has your forecast next.
But first, on Wall Street, stocks ended the day with positive results. The Nightly Business Report has more coming up next at 5:30.
It was a beautiful election day across the river region today. Here on SIU campus, we can see we had some clear skies, some beautiful colors. This is taken outside of Schrock Auditorium. Jackson Wood sent this picture, and it's really beautiful. It's still sunny outside today. We're seeing a temperature around 62 degrees, the dew point at 39 degrees, humidity at 42%. Those winds are pretty mild, around 7 miles per hour, coming out of the west. Our almanac today, we can see that today our high is 64 and our low tonight is going to be 40. Our average is 62 and 39, so we're relatively close to where we should be. 82 was our record high in 1915, but in 1982 our record low was 18 degrees. I thought that was kind of funny. But across the region we can see that we are pretty well in the low 60s. We have some sunshine all around except for up in Waterloo. They were a little bit chillier than us at 57. They also had some partly cloudy weather as well. So we can also see that we are kind of in the lower 60s around here. It's going to get getting colder as we go up. They kind of had a cold low front come in up there. It's staying pretty chill. It's coming down towards us later on. Around Thursday, we should be expecting up in the north, they should be expecting some snow to maybe stick around. St. Louis shouldn't really get some snow, maybe a snow-rain mixture, but as far as we go, we are just going to be seeing some clouds later on this week. Now, around Arkansas, a little bit of Oklahoma, and down into Texas, they are getting some rain and thunderstorms. Also, all along the Gulf Coast, up into the northeast, they're experiencing some rain and thunderstorms as well. The middle of Florida kind of got missed, so they got a little bit lucky. Now tonight we're going to see a low of 40. It's going to be partly cloudy. We are going to be getting some showers tomorrow morning. It's only 80% humidity tonight, but it's going to be pretty wet tomorrow morning, around 46 degrees. Showers with some low winds, so you don't have to experience too much rain hitting you from the side or anything. Just bring a light jacket, something like that. It should clear up by noon. We're going to be seeing a temperature raise up to 56, only 59% humidity, partly cloudy as the day goes on. Tomorrow night, a low of 34. We're going to see those partly cloudy again. We're seeing lots of clouds this week. So it's going to be 79% humidity and some mild winds, not too bad. Now, we can see the rest of the week we are getting those clouds. Those temperatures are dropping around Friday. We're going to be seeing some cloud coverage in the morning, but just some sunshine in the PM. Saturday, we're going to get some sunshine as well on Sunday. Now, if you look at Friday night, you can see that we're going down into 24 degrees and 26 on Saturday. So we are getting those cooler temperatures. They're coming up. Fortunately, we're not seeing too much rain or snow coming our way just yet, but just bundle up and dress warm.
Absolutely. And this is probably going to be one of those last good days we're going to see for a while.
Yes, yes. Saturday may be pretty. We should get some sunshine, but it's going to be pretty cold.
All right. Well, thanks, Devin. Now here's Patrick Cotto, with a preview of what's coming up next in sports. Patrick?
Well, coming up, another turn in the U.S. gymnastics scandal, and the St. Louis Blues are back on the ice tonight. You're watching Evening Edition on WSIU. After a tough loss on Saturday, the St. Louis Blues are back on the ice tonight, taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. The Blues only have 4 wins in the season, but have a chance to add on to the win column as their next 3 games will be at home. The Hurricanes are riding a 4-game losing streak, but look to spoil the party in the City of Lights. Puck Drop is set for 7 o'clock and can be streamed on Fox Sports Midwest. USA Gymnastics may lose its status as the nation's governing body for the sport. The organization is still struggling to get back on its feet after the sex abuse scandal involving Dr. Larry Nassar. In wake of the scandal, committee CEO Sarah Hirschland offered to voluntarily surrender its status and said the athletes deserve better. The scandal rattled the USA Gymnastics, and the organization has lost 2 presidents in recent months. It was Cancer Fights Hockey Night in Pittsburgh as cancer survivor Brian Boyle played his best hockey game yet. The 34-year-old Devils player was diagnosed with leukemia during training camp last year, and he did play during the 2017-2018 season. Boyle learned his cancer was just remission just 2 weeks ago. He scored 3 goals, a hat trick in the win against the Penguins, 5-1. And after spending over 10 years in Chicago, the team decided to make some changes in the coaching staff. The Blackhawks fired their head coach, Joel Quenneville, and is being replaced with Jeremy Colton, the head coach of their affiliated team. Chicago missed the playoffs with Coach Q for the first time since being hired and have failed to advance to the playoffs since they last won the Stanley Cup. The team started off the season 6-6-3 before the decision on Coach Q. And for Monday Night Football, it took place down in Big D between the Titans and the Cowboys. The Cowboys strike first with their new man, Amari Cooper, scoring the first touchdown of the night. Although Tennessee would respond with 2 straight scores before Dak Prescott throws another touchdown to Allen Hurns. Although the Titans would take control from there, scoring 2 more touchdowns. And that's all they needed for the victory, 28-14. And here is your play of the day as Tyler Johnson of the Miami Heat nails a half-court shot at the end of the first quarter in Detroit. Johnson only had 9 points on the night, but Miami gets the road win, 120-115. You know, as a Blackhawks fan, I am actually shocked about this move they made about firing Coach Quenneville.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see, where they can go from here with the new coach.
Exactly.
Thanks, Patrick. Are the warm, sunny skies sticking around for the rest of the week? Devin has a final check of the forecast next.
But first, as we head to break, be sure to follow us on social media at River Region News and check out our website for more local content. We'll be right back.
Finally tonight, a pair of sisters in California share the same birthday because they're twins.
But now they both have new daughters that share the same birthday as well. Twin sisters Bao Nia Yang and Bao Ku Yang never thought they'd go into labor together, but their babies were born on November 4th, just 1 hour apart. The sisters say their twin bond could land them in the delivery room again in the future.
Now, Devin, tell us a little bit more about this weather change that we're going to be seeing.
Well, we're mostly going to be getting some clouds this week. The temperatures are going to be dropping as the week goes on. We're going to be seeing, even on Friday night, temperatures down to 24 degrees. It's going to be getting cooler on Saturday, but it should pick up a little bit warmer on Sunday. We're going to be seeing some clouds, but it shouldn't be too bad. It's just some mild weather. Just wrap up and dress warm.
Right, so we shouldn't be seeing any of the dreaded S word that everyone's kind of hoping
No,
for.
no, we should not be seeing any snow as far as I know, as far as I've been looking into. I think St. Louis maybe on Thursday may see a little bit of a rain-snow mixture, but we should just be getting clouds and maybe a little bit of sprinkles here and there.
Well, great. Thanks, Devin. And thank you for joining us tonight. The Nightly Business Report is next. I'm Kyler Giebert.
And I'm Samantha Soto. For Devin Dom, Patrick Cotto, and all the students who work here on Evening Edition, have a good night.